Hi, honey, I'm home. Well, here we are. It's been 3 weeks since we checked in. It might even be longer because I had that weird day before. Anyway, I'm back. I'm about 87.4% into my body. My IQ is still somewhere over Iceland, but it's coming. I can see it. It's coming. Being an old lady and having jet lag is a really weird and different experience than when you're younger. We didn't have jet lag going, which was really weird. I think it's because I took enough drugs and I slept on the plane. And we had an empty seat between us flying over. And it's also only 9 hours flying to the east. Coming home, that 11 and a half hour flight, the worst part was not that we were really super crowded into each other. It was my butt. I spent so much time thinking about propping my head and my neck so I could sleep. I forgot that the fundamental makeup of an airplane seat in coach is cement. There was nothing I could do to get comfortable on that plane home. Why am I so tiny down here? You can tell I haven't done this for a while, right? Anyway, let's chat after the fact because we can all catch up. So for the whole 2 weeks that I was in Europe, I did not knit and I did not read. Reading takes a certain amount of focus and IQ that I did not have because of walking 15,000 steps every day. And this old body did fairly well, really. I mean, considering how out of shape I have been and still am, I'm really proud of myself. Yes, there were days when I thought Julia would have to put me on her back and carry me home. But for the most part, we did really well. We also mastered public transportation in French and in Dutch. And so I think we need all the awards for that. It was a great trip. We had a fantastic time. Nothing went wrong. Everything happened exactly as it should, and it was fantastic. What did I learn from this experience? Number one, using a travel agency is very helpful. We use a company called Kim Kim. They do travel all over the world. So if you want to go to Asia or South America or the Arctic, they probably have things that they can arrange. And basically you tell this company, I want to go to these countries at this time. I only want to spend this much, set something up for me. And then you communicate back and forth with this travel agent. And we worked with a man who lives in the Netherlands. And I was able to be very clear with him about what we needed, having rest days, those kinds of things. So what I learned is that using a travel agency makes it so easy. When we arrived in Brussels into our darling little boutique hotel that they had arranged for us, there was a packet waiting for us. And in it, it had maps. It had all our metro transportation passes for every city we were in. So we never had to pay for transportation. Our Eurail passes. It was just, everything was all set up and right there. Oh, our tickets to the Anne Frank Museum, to the Rijksmuseum, the Van Gogh Museum, et cetera, et cetera. You see how that is. It was just like, oh, this is very cool and very shishi. So that was a wonderful part of the trip. So I would use this company again. Did I pay more for my trip than I would have had I arranged it myself? Probably. Was it worth it? Every penny. The other thing I learned is not to schedule things too early in the day, especially as we got further and further into the trip and both of us started to get more and more tired. Instead of scheduling something to begin at 10, which involved getting on a train, so you have to get up at 7:30 or 8 to even function, I would not start my activities till 11 or 11:30. Why? How do I say this? The morning is the poo-poo time. And if you're on a train and you have poo-poo time, it's not fun. Wow, did I have some eye-opening bathroom experiences? But I digress. The other thing I learned is that I would definitely bring less clothes. I did not wear everything I brought. I was perfectly fine recycling clothes, wearing a shirt, twice before I washed it, those kinds of things. So that would have made things easier. And it probably would have meant that we didn't have to buy the extra suitcase to bring our crap home. So remember, you're going to buy crap while you're there, so take less going so you can bring it back. Also, who cares? We paid €25 for a suitcase. It was great. It'll probably break the next time we use it, but we got our stuff home without being broken. One of the highlights of this trip, forgive me, I'm going to be done with this in a minute, at least in this video, because I'll probably remember things that I want to tell you. One of the things that we were able to have because of working through this company, Kim, was that in every single town we were in, we had a private tour with someone. So when we got to Brussels, we had a private tour with Christoph, who walked us around downtown Brussels and introduced us to beer and all the different kinds of beer and why the Trappist monks beer is served in this glass and the other beers are served here. It was fascinating. Also, we had a lot of beer. It was really fun. When we were in Ghent, we had a tour with a fabulous Ghent woman, Caroline, and she took us all over. Ghent was getting ready for their big festival, and we're standing there talking to her, and Julia gets this notice. There's a Nora Jones concert that night. So Julia just bought tickets and went to a Nora Jones concert in Ghent, Belgium. And in Bruges, we had a tour with Roland. It was really interesting, the difference in the various personalities of these tour guides. They were lovely, but Roland was here we go, we're marching through, and these are the nuns, and this is the building, and it was fine. It was great. We had a great time. And then in Amsterdam, we were taken on I asked for a tour of Dutch food because I lived in the Netherlands for a year and a half as a young woman. There were certain things I remember, and there were certain things that I couldn't find anymore. But the woman who took us on this tour, she let us eat herring, which I love. And Julia, I'm so proud of her. She swallowed it and it stayed down. Yay! That was not her cup of tea. And then we were taken to a little tiny wine store that had just opened. This young couple bought the building and they live up above, and they are investing in Dutch wine. Altogether new thing. Thank you, global warming. But now the northern countries like northern Germany and the Netherlands and Belgium are starting to grow grapes. And I have to tell you, Dutch wine, which they do not export, so the only way you can drink it is if you're in the Netherlands, it was incredible. Some of the best wine I've ever had in my entire life. Anyway, I digress. So those are some of the overall things. We went to Amsterdam. We spent 4 days in Paris. We had a tour with an American expat in Paris who taught us all about cheese. And it was just a great trip. Our goal was not to visit the touristy things, although we did throw a couple of those. We went to Notre Dame. We went to the Van Gogh Museum, those things. But it was to be amongst the people, to feel what the culture is really, what's it like to live there and to be Belgian, to be Dutch. What does it mean and how does it feel on a daily basis? And I think we achieved that as best as one can in 2 weeks. So we're home. We had a fabulous time. I'm glad to be home. Those last couple of days were hard because I was physically just pooping out. And the day before we flew home, we went to Versailles, which it's an hour-ish adventure on the trains and metro and whatnot to get to Versailles. And then it's this enormous property. So here it is, the day before we fly home, and we are trucking around Versailles, and my daughter said the funniest thing of the whole trip. So we're like in room 7 or 8 looking, and we're listening, and there are all these portraits, and there are millions of people, and they're moving very slowly. And I'm standing there in this one room, and I'm listening to the thing, and I'm looking around, and Julia comes up to me, and she goes, "Do you want to keep looking at this?" I said, well, I don't care. She goes, I mean, we've seen a lot of art. Yes, we saw a lot of art. The other fun thing we did at Versailles is she wanted to check out the gardens, which are hundreds and hundreds of acres. And I'm like, you're going to have to carry me because I am so over walking at this point. So she found Le Petit Tram, which I am pretty sure had been discarded by Disneyland and taken over on some ship to Versailles, where they sort of retrofitted it to drag tourists around Versailles. But it was seriously like off-roading. The tram was like this, and I'm like, oh my God. Maybe that's why my butt hurt on the flight home. I don't know. So what did I buy for myself while I was in Europe? Because that's a very important question, right? I bought myself a coffee mug with the Dutch Blauw, the beautiful Delft Blauw blue and white. It's not a traditional pattern, but it's very lovely, and I forgot to show it to you, so just envision it, right? I'll put it up here so you can see it. And then I went to yarn stores. I'm a little embarrassed about this. Just bear with me, okay? So, random stores, wherever we found them. I only think we went to 3 or 4, but I bought way too much yarn. So, shall we look at it? So, this is hand-dyed in Ireland. It's called Peak District. I thought that was kind of a fun, interesting color combination. We'll see. Hold on, there's a whole bag full of this stuff. Oh, in Amsterdam, we went to Stephen Penelope's, which is it's a well-known brand in the yarn world. And this store was brand new, and I walked in, and everyone was just like, "Oh, it's so great!" I don't remember exactly what I got there, but oh gosh, hold on, I found it. I only bought one thing there, and we went to 2 yarn stores in Amsterdam. I got this at the first yarn store because orange in the Netherlands, House of Orange, and so Julia wants a pair of orange socks. And this is hand dyed in Amsterdam, so that's mocha. That's kind of fun. And I found a bunch of this yarn, very popular yarn. It's a self-striping yarn. Regia, you can get it here in the United States, but I think I paid 25 or 30% less for this ball of yarn that I would have had I bought it here in the United States. We have a couple of those. Here's another self-stripy one, kind of fun. And one more, la 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 la. Okay, so those. Then we went, oh wait, I don't remember where, this is a La Bien-Aimée. Okay, so this is French. We got this in Paris. This yarn is so beautiful. It is made in Paris. It's a well-known brand. If I were to buy this skein of yarn through this resale, the people who sell it here in the United States, I'm guessing about $38. This was €12. And so, what's this one? Ooh, look at this one. This one is called Waitomo Caves. This is an Olivia and Oliver fiber. Olivia and Oliver fiber. This is hand-dyed in the Netherlands and available exclusively at Stephen and Penelope. So isn't that I just think is just gorgeous with those blues and greens. And then we also found more fun self-striping yarn. Julia liked this one. And this one, kind of a fade. And we got this wild and crazy one. This one was also in Paris, I believe. I got this. Doesn't say. I should have been better about that. Anything else? Oh, wait. Oh. I found one of my granddaughter's presents in here, so I have to remember to give that to her because she's coming. And then, of course, while I was gone, I got more yarn club deliveries. I really don't love this. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. And then interestingly enough, this one, they're very similar. So people, way too much yarn. So much fun. Oh yeah, and the little store in Paris is called Lil Weasel. And that was very fun to go in there because Summer Lee, my sock knitting best friend on the internet, went there and told us about that store. And it was literally a 5-minute walk from our hotel. So, yarn. Okay, since I got home last Wednesday, I have finished two of the books that I started before I left. One I hated, and that was the Viola Shipman book I was reading, The Page Turner. The problem is I figured it all out way too soon in the book. And the other problem is the characters were not very nice. So I didn't love that book. Yeah. I know there are people out there who love Viola Shipman, reads everything he writes, absolutely adores his style. It was way too, I don't know what the word is that I want to use, but it was that. So I give that about a C. But the book I want to tell you about, and I want to encourage you to read because it was incredible, was The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. This is her first book published. It's not a debut novel because I've read some interviews of her, and she had probably 7 or 8 manuscripts of different books rejected before this one was published. And it is really outstanding. It is letters that she writes and the people who write back to her or whatever. She writes to authors. She writes to Joan Didion. She writes to George Lucas. It's fantastic. It is a beautiful book to see this woman. She's older. She's in her 70s writing these letters, and you learn about her life and the wonderful discoveries she makes up until the point where she passes away. And it was just incredible. I finished it the other night, and it was really one of those books where you just kind of sit there and have all the feelings about what you've just read and how it so deeply resembles your own, all the things we get when we read a great novel. So definitely pick up The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. It is well worth any time. But I'm back in that place where I don't know what I want to read next. I picked up a cozy mystery series. I don't even remember what it's called. Something about diamonds, and it takes place in the 20s in Britain, and this, cute young thing solves murder. I'm not sure I'm going to stick with that. So my goal today is to find the next couple of books I'm going to read. And I know there are a million of them out there. I just, in that weird limbo place where you don't know what you feel like reading. Oh, but I did want to tell you that on the trip, Julia would often drop me off at the hotel right after we ate dinner or in the later afternoon so that I could rest. And then she'd go off gallivanting and doing whatever extroverts do when they're in foreign countries. I don't know. I'm not that. So I didn't feel like reading because I was, too tired, didn't want to think that hard. And there were no shows that I really wanted to watch, right? Yeah. So on my streamings, because we got Wi-Fi everywhere, I turned on my Amazon Prime and I started watching a show that probably every single one of you has watched, and I did not. Bones, the story of the forensic pathologist, whatever she is, anthropologist. That hit the sweet spot in terms of what my brain needed to do when I was winding down after walking. And let's do a little more walking. Yeah. So that was that, Bones. But it's interesting that since I got home, it's not hitting in quite the same way. It just goes to show you how your brain shifts and changes depending on the environment you're in. So we have something fun coming up this weekend. We are going to the Hollywood Bowl Friday night to see Jesus Christ Superstar with Cynthia Erivo, a.k.a. Elphaba, portraying Jesus. Philippa Sue from Hamilton is playing Mary Magdalene. Josh Gad is in it. Adam Lambert plays Judas. It's going to be fantastic. So that's our big hoop-de-doo on Friday night. And then this weekend, Julia drives up to Vegas, picks up Lily, the granddaughter, to bring Lily back for her summer camp. So Lil will be with us all next week. And then the following weekend, we will have her show and everybody will be in town and it'll be quite the thing. So that's the catch-up version of where I am. The trip was fantastic. My daughter is the perfect traveling companion. We balance each other very, very well in that we have no trouble saying, you go do your thing and I'm going to stay here and rest, or I'm going to do my thing, you do what. It just worked. And we communicate well. We enjoy the same things. The one regret I have is that we both had funny tummies when we were there. And, when you travel, you're not in your regular place. So you have this, I'm going to talk about me. I have sort of this little underlying nervousness, anxiety, anticipation, whatever you want to call it, excitement. And so I wasn't able to eat all the yummy things I wanted to. You go to France, you think, I'm going to have the escargot and the rich thing. No, we couldn't even do that. So we'd usually share a sandwich for lunch and find something easy like a kebab or pizza. We really love the pizza in Europe. It is so good, and we had some really wonderful moments with that. And we discovered a new beverage, a new cocktail that we are labeling our summer of 2025 cocktail. That is a limoncello spritz. Aperol spritz are the big thing in Europe. Everybody does it, and I don't love Aperol. It's that bitter orange. So just substitute limoncello, Prosecco, sparkling water on ice, and it makes life happy. Anyway, thanks for listening. May you all have a wonderful summer. Relax, enjoy. May your health be good. May your outlook about life be good, and may we all be free, safe, and happy. Talk to you next week.